It's the Playhouse Podcast with Kat and JJ.
Can't believe it. I missed everything.
Missed the show?
What am I going to do?
Check out the Daily Podcast.
What do you do to secure your home? You got a gun, you got a dog, you got a security system. Maybe you use Pringles. It's all very interesting. We ran through it this morning. You're going to get that in a couple of seconds. Here comes our podcast. So as we kind of get back from our week-long vacation in Punta Cana with a bunch of amazing listeners, something happened on the way home that I've never had happen before on an airplane. First off, Cat clapping when the plane lands is
But how many people
none
joined in?
0.
8.
8 out of the 500 people on the plane. It was ridiculous.
But that's hot off the Toronto plane flip.
Well,
and
everybody's
so people were very
out.
excited to be there safely. So,
So first off, we as we're leaving Punta Cana, the airplane's not taking off forever and ever. And I'm like, what the hell is going on here? All of a sudden, you hear this round of applause, and the pilots show up, and you're like, wait, what? And the main pilot gets on, and he's like, guys, I'm really, really sorry, but I didn't get hotel transportation. They just failed to pick me up.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, this is a bad omen, but they take their time. They check out the plane. We get in the air. Everything's fine. He's like, we're running a little bit late. We're going to try and make up that air. So, I don't know, about halfway through the flight, my wife was sitting across the aisle from me, nudges me, and she goes, you got to see this picture. And it wasn't a picture. It was just written on her notepad. A guy just got busted smoking in the bathroom.
yeah.
And I looked
Like
at her.
not vaping, but actually
tried
smoking.
to smoke a cigarette. And the best, I didn't care really. It wasn't a big deal to me. But the biggest thing is I don't think he would have got busted doing it. But there were 2 other like elderly people that went in after him.
Yeah.
And they turned him in and he got busted. And so as we're getting off the plane, there's cops everywhere and stuff like that. I had never seen, they go to extensive measures to make sure that you're well aware.
Well, I did hear what the stewardess was saying to the woman because the woman that narked was sitting right in front of me. And she kept knocking my phone off the back of the seat. But I remember taking one of my headphones off and I heard the woman say, we're going to handle it. You can write a complaint if you'd like to. The pilot is well aware that this happened. And then even said that the pilot was like, what, at 40,000 feet? Who would do that? And so
what's the difference at 40,000 feet versus 12,000 feet? What's
obviously,
the difference?
there is a difference. I don't know. I don't know. There's a reason why it's a federal offense. And
so in my head, I'm like, hold on. There's 100 other ways to get your nicotine fix without, like, you could easily in a seat,
right,
vape, blow it into your sweatshirt. Nobody know the difference.
So
you could use chewing tobacco. You could throw a Zyn in real quick. Whatever's going to get you through, right?
Yeah. Or you could just wait.
It's a 6-hour flight. I get that you probably, if you need a fix, you need a fix, whatever the deal is. But I've never been on a plane
I know.
where somebody's tried to smoke on the plane.
So the last time that they had all these agents outside of a plane, I was going to Nashville and I land and next to me was a veteran, but he was young. He was done with his tours, must have been late 20s, early 30s. Sitting next to me and this bald guy, tall, skinny bald guy, looked like maybe an old school rocker, had all these like gems and bedazzled outfits. And he was walking up and down the aisle as we were taxiing to our gate, which is illegal. You can't be up and walking.
Oh, right.
And so the woman gets on the microphone. She goes, please take your seat. There's no walking around. And he was like talking to himself and being really kind of erratic. And you could see this vet's like, his fists were getting balled up, like I'll handle business.
He was going to have to do something?
Yeah. And so I was ready to jump out of his way so he could because I appreciate people like that. But then we get off and there were probably a dozen federal agents waiting at the gate for this guy because he was acting like he was about to open the door. And
I was thinking
out.
to myself, too, like, you're a pilot. You're on your, you're in your descent mode. You're starting to break down from 46,000 feet. And you're obviously everybody's freaking out about flying right now, which I guess I'm not. But all of a sudden the pilot's got to be hearing like, hey, some dude's smoking in the back bathroom.
All right.
Like it's the last thing you need to worry about right now. Can you get the 3 wheels on the ground for me?
It was a little wild, but yeah, just know it's about a $500 fine. I think maybe no fly.
I think it's a whole lot more than that.
No, for that. Well, that one it was posted on the thing.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, it could be up to a $500 fine. But then also you could be on a no fly. It's a federal case. it's not worth it.
So we get to immigration, and they're handling the situation, and one of the cops on the way out looks at me, and you could tell he was just like, I didn't need this at 9 o'clock at night, you know?
Right.
And he goes, but it'll all be quick. It won't be any hassle for you guys. But I thought about that so much. Like, I'd never been part of a situation where somebody actually tried to smoke on a plane.
A plane is not full of like-minded people, so that's what you have to keep in mind. There might be somebody sitting right next to you that would compromise.
I thought this would be a great chance to go fishing for anyone else that's got a couple of just a really cool plane stories where you were on a plane and this happened and you could not believe it.
Yeah.
You want to toss one at us?
I was listening to this guy who is now in the Guinness World Record books. His name is Dale Rupert. And he is now breaking records with his collection of 3,100 slide charts.
I pulled one up. I thought, oh, that's sort of cool. I think I'll get that. And then as I thought further, I realized, oh, I can get this whole box for under $10. And that's when the collection began. Today, 23 years later, I'm over 3,100. And I bought 2 last week.
Wait, what's a slide? I don't even know what a slide chart is.
You should Google it because you'll know when you see it. But like when he said, oh, the whole box is only $10, that's when it gets dangerous. To think that you only need one if you think it's cool, you know, because it's not going to dissolve or go away or anything like that. You can play with it every single day. I don't know who's playing with these, but you don't need an entire box, which now led to 3,100, which led to his entire basement being taken over. So is there something that you are collecting right now? And, you know, we talk about my grandpa's souvenir building collection, which has over 300, which is a daunting thought to try to get rid of for him. But Caden had texted in that his wife has a Christmas Village collection that grows every single year by 5. So just imagine how many they have. I feel like a Christmas Village could consist of like 5 or 7 with the fake snow. And that's beautiful. I like that collection.
Slide chart is a handheld device, usually of paper, cardboard, or plastic, with simple calculations to look up information. So like a circular slide chart has a bunch of little wheels on it. So when you slide it to one, it automatically slides to an X so you can make accurate predictions, especially when it comes to measurements. It's a mechanical calculator, basically.
Who cares?
So
and he doesn't even use them, you know? So that's where I would be very annoyed if I had a partner that thought that way. So I might as well buy the whole box because it's so cheap. We don't need slide sheets.
What do you have that you should probably get rid of that you have too much?
I have nothing because I purge. I am a minimalist. My husband, however, we are getting our closets done. And he sat down with the person that's designing our closets without me and said that he needs extra shelving for the accessories for his costumes.
Not just the costumes, but the accessories that go with the costume.
So each level, well, we got the wigs, then we have the masks, then we have the fake cigarettes and elf ears, and then we have the shoe covers for like his duck costume. And it's so much for me to handle. And just to even ask him to cut it in half, which would still be an incredible amount of costumes. The thought of, I mean, he looks at me like, woman, are you kidding me? It's almost worth a divorce in his mind.
Do you think it's because he just had the one kid that's what he's focusing a lot of his extra energy on?
He's a creative mind. He loves to dress up, even if he's not doing anything. He'll come upstairs. We'll be like, where did he go? We're watching a movie. He'll come up dressed as maybe a character
one of the characters
on the
movie?
Show that we're watching.
Ah, that's amazing.
He did that during Batman, dressed as Penguin, came up and sat and watched the entire show like the Danny DeVito Penguin. I mean, this is what I'm dealing with, people.
There was a hot minute there. My wife was collecting chickens, ceramic chickens that I would come home and there would be an extra chicken somewhere in our kitchen.
Yeah.
And when I talked about it on the air, everyone's like, be a supportive husband. Like she wanted to turn our home into literally like a Little House on the Prairie thing.
Yeah.
And it was all these like
huge roosters.
Yeah. And I was like, right. And I was like, yeah, it's a compensation thing. So what is something that you probably have too much of that purging wouldn't necessarily kill you, but it probably hurts your heart a little bit? One of the things that we've noticed is that when a listener calls with a great piece of gossip, it almost always starts with, "Grrr!"
And then our ears are open and ready to go. And what we do advise is let's leave people's names out of it because...
Or give us your middle name or your best friend's name or something like that. And with all of that said, Isabel, we're going to call her Isabel, immediately called. And when we picked up, she said,
Girl, I just found my boss's mugshot.
No way.
Not only that, he was charged with it's a domestic violence case. So I don't know. I've never.
Did it go into what it was for? Because sometimes you could read into it a little bit more now that it's public knowledge.
It didn't. It just said it was like a domestic violence case. I don't know the details just yet. I haven't dug.
Okay.
But I mean, I've never gotten those vibes from him. I've never felt uncomfortable.
Sure.
At work. But
you didn't do any
now
digging? That's all I would have done that day.
yeah, that was going to be my follow-up question for you is has that come across to you? I mean, you never know what's going on behind closed doors or what's, in people's private lives, but have you ever been, obviously confronted by him to a point where you thought it could get, overly heated, and it doesn't sound like you have.
Yeah, that's what's crazy. I never felt uncomfortable, and then I'm like, wait, am I missing something?
Right.
What's up? Clearly he has that in him.
Like a DV case for a relationship he was in. He's not in a relationship with you. So I'm wondering, should we as humans, obviously there are two sides to every story. DV, there are so many different levels to it. But if he's not bringing that to work, is it worth bringing up to anybody?
And then my other question is, what's the workplace like? Is it a lot of women? I mean, I'm sure this word got out now, right?
We're kind of like 60-40 women.
Okay.
And yeah, I mean, ever since it surfaced, obviously, rumor mill, it was almost like calling tree, but texting tree.
Yeah.
And we immediately shot a picture of his mugshot to all of us.
Oh, man. I don't know if I agree with that.
How is he as a boss? Is he a pretty good boss?
I mean, he's okay. Whatever, as good as bosses can get, but he's not like this remarkable leader.
Yeah.
But he's also not this aggro dude. So that's why I was really surprised to see that.
A personal level and a boss level.
Yeah. There have been things that I've found out about some of my bosses, and I had to compartmentalize, if I wasn't being affected at work by this, and he's never shown anything other than being a good boss, then it's already gone around work with their text chain, which I think is really dangerous. But especially if you're the one that started it,
The convictions are one thing, right? But if it doesn't play into your daily life, is it really a thing?
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So how should she handle this?
Yeah, that's a
because
good question.
I feel like some of the damage is already being done with this dangerous game of telephone and the screenshotting of the mugshot and sending it out to other employees. This is going to be a big deal for him.
If he's been a great boss and if this didn't affect you before you found it, should it really affect you?
Have you found out something about a boss that you had and maybe you kept it inside? You didn't let anybody know, but it made you a little nervous.
Yeah.
Do you remember what Trisha said? So you have three to think of, I guess, but what she said in the labor room. Did she ever yell anything out?
You know what? She was really not very vocal.
Oh, she was quiet?
Yeah. It was me because the way I diffuse a situation, if it's starting to get stressful, is I would joke with the doctors and the nurses and stuff like that. And then when my daughter was being born, I had just gotten my very first morning show. And the competition I knew took live calls.
Yeah.
And so I got on the phone and would call their radio station was doing like a trivia contest. And we're sitting in the delivery room, or actually in the hospital room. And I call and they go, yeah, do you have the right answer? I go, is it the JJ Holiday Morning Show?
Oh.
And I got him twice.
That's what you had time to do.
Yeah, well, it was just when you're a guy, you're just sitting there. You're just hanging out. You're like, how long does this take? People have been doing this for tens of thousands of years. Can we speed up the process a little bit? I got no love there whatsoever. But no, she wasn't a screamer or anything like that. It was just she was very composed.
Okay. I had put that photo on my Facebook page, on my cat page, where it says, what did you say in the labor room? And I remember laying there under anesthesia, but I could still vocalize the fact that I just wanted tater tots. My whole pregnancy, I couldn't eat anything deep fried, nothing like that. And my eye was on the prize. Once this child was out of my body, I was going to have a plate of tater tots, and I did.
Went down to see my sister when she had her son, and we got there, and she wasn't even really in labor yet, but I think it was a planned delivery, right? They were going to break her water, and all she did was tell us about, I need a gas station cappuccino. Oh, my God. I'll do anything for a gas station cappuccino. Yeah. And I remember the doctor.
Good for her not doing coffee for her pregnancy.
The doctor looks at me and he goes, get that girl a gas station cappuccino.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I will. Like, I'm just here for the baby. And I knew she'd never forgive me if I ran to the gas station. And then all of a sudden the baby came. But that was her big thing. I got to have a gas station cappuccino.
I just love all their answers. A lot of them involve food. I'd say 95%.
Not booze?
No, Kaylee had said, I need a cheeseburger. I want Burger King. Someone said, Kasha, she said, I yelled at the nurse to stop chewing her gum like a cow. Later, I apologized. And she laughed at me and said it was okay that people have said worse. Brittany says, I can't do this anymore. Jamie says, wow, that was a fast one. 5 pushes and they were out.
That couldn't have been her first baby.
Yeah. Carissa says, get this out of me.
Oh, wow.
You must have been in some pain for sure. But I loved all these answers because everyone's in a different mind space, you know.
You just needed the tater tots.
I just wanted the tater tots. But a lot of bacon double cheeseburgers were
That's the go-to?
Yelled out. I need a bacon double cheeseburger. Miranda says, don't touch me. So,
oh, that one, yeah.
Kind of unavoidable.
So what happened last time someone touched you.
Yeah.
But I'm just thinking, like, but you can't have a bacon double cheeseburger when you're pregnant.
Yeah, sure.
Like, nobody
you can.
says you can't have that. Like, I would have thought it would have been like Jameson or, right? Like, I need a seltzer.
I love the women on Instagram that, like, their husband goes and gets them a sushi boat and puts it right down in front of them. And they say it's like a reward.
Dude, how about those dudes that bring their gaming systems into the.
Don't get me started on those guys. Oh, my
That's
God.
one of the most bananas things I've ever seen.
And those are also the guys that will say while you're mid push, God, I'm so tired right now. You know, you just know it. So.
I can't imagine sitting there being on my Xbox while the wife is pushing.
I know.
I wanted to mention this because I feel like we work for a very good company. And I haven't probably worked for a better company, but I saw something this morning that made me go, whoa, you want to really up my value as far as an employee? The company that runs our texting service, they had a message out there that today is their day, that they won't be doing any maintenance. And if you have an issue, it's going to have to wait till tomorrow because everyone in their company today has a family day.
Oh, nice.
So
are they forced to hang out with other workers' families?
No.
Like it's a big company family day.
No, they want their, so, and I'm trying to think about, well, how do you really do that with your kids and school and everything like that? Wouldn't that be better?
You send them to school and then you hang out with your spouse and watch Love is Blind.
But wouldn't it be better if they did this in like June or July? But most people are taking their, summer vacations.
And they might.
But today is family day at that company, and it's reserved and it's a paid holiday for their employees to have more family time. So their thought process, and I kind of looked into this and I Googled the hell out of it, is we all have that family time usually during the holidays. And then everything gets really, really hectic in January as everyone's getting back to school and everything. And then February, they schedule theirs. It's a nice day at the end of February that you just spend with your family. Mm-hmm. Would that increase your job happiness if there was just a day on the calendar that you knew you could wait till Liam got out of school, and that you and your husband and Liam could all plan something for as soon as we got him from school, we'd be able to do this?
I think that would be really cool. If I don't use it, either way, it would show me that my company.
They're closed. You have to use it. Like, it's yours, whether you want to do something with it or not.
If I didn't do anything with my family, if we just did our own thing, or maybe I went, whatever it is, I didn't use it for a family day, it shows that my company is like, we value your outside life and know that it's totally different than work.
But think of all the other things that if you knew you didn't have to wake up at a certain time, and throughout that day, you could chip off, whether it was just cleaning, meal prep, you got something, at your home you need to get taken care of, you want to schedule your furnace repair, something like that. Like all the things you could do just knowing that on February 20th, you weren't going to have to go to work. It wasn't anything against your PTO, but they just call it a family day and they want you to spend it with your family. And I was like, that is so, and that's the same theory that I think a lot of companies go with as far as we'd like you to come into the office, but if you got stuff to do at home, you can do it from, your home, or the extended leave for moms. A lot of companies will offer that. Take as long as you need. Your job is going to be here, but after a certain time, you're obviously not going to get paid, stuff like that. But I was just like, wow, if they just did a family day. And it was amazing that your first thing was, do I have to hang out with the other people I work with to get this? I just thought, I've got a lot of stuff to do.
Yeah.
I would love a day to just concentrate on doing that stuff.
I think it'd be interesting to take texts if you want to and let us know what your company does that you think is really cool. Like it kind of sets them apart from other places that you've worked and you appreciate their efforts.
Well, we've had all of these, company get-togethers quarterly that Kat has planned out that have been amazing. And
you're so sarcastic.
I'm not sarcastic.
Disgusting.
It was great. I had a lot of fun at all those.
You didn't go to one of them.
I would have had a lot of fun if I would have went to any of them.
I was made to plan those.
You were forced, gun to your head.
Felt like it.
Oh, shut up.
Metaphorical.
But what does your company do that you think sets them apart? I'd love to get your text right now. Show some love to those folks. Friday morning is going to be a lot of fun. So join the live show. We've got a chance at $50,000 for you at about 8:20. Johnny D is going to be here with a couple of old school mixes for you. And if you want to go see the Bare Naked Ladies live in concert, we'll give you those tickets coming up at about 7:20 Friday morning. It's going to be a fun show as we do our live thing. In the meantime, polish off the podcast with us, okay?
All right. So when it comes to securing your home, some people think, we still live back in 1995 when everyone leaves their door open.
You guys give up or you're thirsty for more?
But some people have to protect their abode. And I get it. I mean, we're not above and beyond. We have a security system, but our next door neighbors, they moved here from New York. And I just want to tell them, you don't have to go so crazy.
Back
but they
off
have
a little.
3 cameras on their front step, which makes me nervous too, because I'm like, what are they securing? Like, they got any comings and goings? Their backyard has 2 cameras. And so, I mean, I don't know what their reason is, but maybe they're just hyper secure. But there's this burglar in Britain that was caught in the act by a Home Alone style bucket trap. So he was going to try to get into the house, tripped over a string that was tied to a bucket of water, which tipped over, soaked his shoes. And they only caught him because they followed his wet footprints. And they followed him, and they could tell by the security cameras where he had gone. Does it always work out that way? No. But are there ways that you secure your house that maybe go above and beyond? We talk about Phil, who comes to Mexico with us. He said, you know what I do when I travel, and he travels ridiculous. A lot for work, is that he'll take a can of Pringles, and who knows how often he does this. I feel like maids would be very upset at this, but he puts all the Pringle chips in front of the door because your ear isn't used to the sound of Pringles crunching. So if someone were to open your door and step on the Pringles, your body automatically wakes up.
This is ridiculous.
The guy's a little
I've never beta tested this either.
Yeah. But I don't want to. I don't want to mess. I'll just double lock my door, or maybe put a chair in front. Women have to think of different things than men.
You ever seen those little guys you slide inside? It's a little
inside
metal
the
piece.
latch.
Yeah,
Yep.
You put it inside the latch and then it kind of strings around or whatever, and like you can't get in.
I know a lot of female flight attendants that have those and carry them to all the hotels that they stay in. But Daniel said we've never had any type of security in our homes. Last year, though, we were robbed while we were on vacation. So now we're pretty locked down and secure. Ring system. We have a security system. We even have the dog beware of dog sign at the door, which could be a deterrent for robbers.
Trish and I went out of town last summer, and we had just moved into our new place, and our neighbors alerted us right away to somebody being in our driveway.
Yeah.
And it was just my son had been back with a bunch of his friends, and they were using the property just to go out on the lake and stuff like that. And they were like, do you know these people? And just sent us a picture. And I'm like, oh, that's just my bonehead kid and all his dummy friends.
Yeah.
But it's nice to have neighbors that actually are looking out for you.
Tammy texted Kat, maybe they moved here from New York because they're on the run or they're hiding. And you have mafia
this is nightmare fuel, guys. I'm going to hear about this for the next 5 weeks.
Tammy, you're going to live up here rent free. I'm going to think about that often.
What are you using? I mean, I think the thing is, it's so affordable now. Whether you want to go with like a really, really high end one with all the cameras, or if you just want to make sure your windows and if you've got like level windows with the ground,
you got the dowel rods.
Yeah, well, you do that, but then I have the little sensors on all of them, and that's fine. So if your security system is on at night and the sensors go off, it immediately will tell you where it is on my phone, like which window it was, so that I can, grab my bat and go beat the piss out of someone.
Jeez. Okay.
I'm on high alert all the time.
Maybe that's your only security. Maybe you just have a bat or a golf club next to the bed.
And maybe you got a gun. Maybe you got a loaded gun in the dresser, too. Here's my biggest part. I want to protect my family, but I don't know if I'm ready to take another life.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like some people that, and I get it, stand
if they're
ground.
ready to threaten your
I
life
know.
and your family's
But I
life.
think somebody that's just breaking in to steal my TV is not looking to threaten my life.
You want to find out.
I know, but I don't want to find out. I don't want to stand over a bloody corpse.
Right.
And go, oh, this guy was just down on his luck and he was looking to score, $200 for that TV.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm ready to deal with that for the rest of my life. But what are you doing right now? I mean, you got the ring, you got the Arlo.